Hello YouTube friends, welcome to The Last Homely House. I'm Kate and today I want to tell you about this project that I began with you back in the summer sometime. So there's a video all about the start of this project. Now it's well on in the year now and I got the whole lot out again so that I could continue with this colour wash quilt that I'm making. Each of these squares finishes at 6.5 inches. And I explained in that first video all about what I'm making and why I'm making them. I sorted all my scraps into colours and got them all into different little boxes so that when I wanted to make one particular colour of something, I could use that box. Now, each of these squares then will be some sort of a colour wash. This isn't how they're going to go on the board at all, not at all. And I'm not quite sure how big I'm going to make it, but the more I make of these, the more I'm enjoying them. I explained in that last video that instead of just making lots of red ones and lots of blue ones, I'm actually doing a bit more of a colour gradient so that we start with pink up here and get darker, lighter and lighter, and so I'm enjoying that kind of colour wash aspect to it. I've got to the point now where I've made about 65 of them. They're 6.5 inches and I've got an idea that I will do an optical illusion sashing with them. I made a quilt like that a year or so ago with some fantastic fabric that I was sent, and I made that into a colour wash, an optical illusion quilt, so you can have a look at that one as well. I'm going to do the same thing because I really like how they look. So what I'm doing at the moment then, and I'll take you over to the sewing machine and show you, is I'm selecting one colour and making one block in a very similar colours, so the colours are all very graded together. This morning I made this one, which was all the very dark black, and then I've got some that are a little bit less so, more grey. So that's what I'm doing with the boxes then. I'm enjoying it very much. I'm not quite sure how big I'm going to make it. At the moment, with on the board like so, I've got 9 across and 10 down. But I might make it, I don't know, I might make it bigger or smaller than that. Because once I put the sashing in, it's going to make it bigger again, isn't it? I've been working all of that out in my Quilt Planner's notebook this morning. And I thought I might invite you to come along and see the planning and see the making of some of these squares. I want to make sure I've got a balance of colours so that I can do this wash. And I like doing things in a kind of rainbow way. So, you know, starting with the rest. I might do that. It's reminding me of the planets quilt that I made. There's another quilt that I made a video about where I made circles and made a kind of plain background coloured circle. And I made those into a sort of almost a rainbow setup, I think. So let's have a think about how we might set this up, and what I'm going to invite you to do with me today is come and make a couple of blocks with me, see how I work that out, and then think about how we're going to do the sashing for this. I'm really enjoying it. I'll show you on the table now how I've got all the boxes arranged in colours. I had hoped that this would be a way of getting rid of a lot of my scraps. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? I've still got as many scraps now as I had when I started it out. It doesn't use up as much fabric as I would like it to. I still got a lot more scraps. But isn't that the nature of scraps? So I've got my setup in the corner here. Sewing machine, my iron and cutting mat are here. And it's a bit sunny today. It's going in and out, the sun, behind the cloud then out again. So we're going to try and film, but sometimes it might be a little bit backlit. You'll have to forgive that one. What I do then, I was just about to start thinking about making a yellow one, but what I'd really like is a very dark blue one. So I've got the blue box here, and I'm just going to tip it all out so that I can see them more clearly. There we go. So I'll tip all the blue ones out, and then I'm going to just look for very, very dark blues and put them here on the ironing board. Let's see. Does that count as dark blue? It might. It's a bit mid, that one. Let's see. That's dark blue. That one is as well. That might work. Okay, well that's nice and dark. Okay then, so that's the first look. I've got this box here, which is useful. Now, this box is loads of 1.5" strips, or are they 2 inches? 1.5", which I was making something else with ages ago, but there's some really useful colours in there. And I'm going to start away with these now. So I'll sit here, move my cup of tea, and this little setup works absolutely perfectly. Okay then, so we'll make a start with that one. I like the spots. I've got my big scissors. I'm not really caring how big I cut these, because it's not about measuring precisely. That's a nice one, an iron. And that one. Is that one going to make it in? Oh, that one definitely is. Yeah, we'll try that one. They're all on the dark blue side, aren't they? Okay, I think that's some of everything. I'll put that there, and it may get rejected or not. Now, fun starts, where we're just taking, let's lay them out a bit. Okay. Now, the way that I'm working here, this is a great use of thread bunnies, because I'm going to sew to the end and sew it off onto one of my little bits of fabric here. Give that a press, and then I'm going to cut that down. Okay. Actually, I'm going to be a bit more careful and cut that nice and square. I'm going to line up the grid line on my ruler. That's better. Okay then. I cut my selve edges off before I sew. I think most people do. It's quite a lot thicker than the fabric, and I don't want that to get mixed up in the middle of my quilt. And so what I just said about scraps, I'm just making a lot more scraps, aren't I? These little thread bunnies then, these little scraps of fabric, when they get too sewn onto, they get retired into this little basket here. I've got loads of them. Okay. Now we'll give that an iron. Yes, that's nice and dark. That can go in as well. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay, good old press, and then I'll line up my ruler and make sure there. And there's a really dark blue one, which will go over there with the blues. And then I think I'm going to look at the board now and see maybe another yellow one, a very pale yellow one or a mid-yellow one. And that's how I'm doing it now. It's almost like painting. That one's done. And so, oh, this one's partly done. That one's quite cool, isn't it? I tell you what then, we'll put all the blues away and we'll have a look now at these this sort of colour. Sort of a very light coloured one with little bits of green and things. I've probably got some more of that kind of thing. Does that work in it? Possibly not. And so I'm just going to search through all of these now. There you are. That goes in there. And finish this one off, which I must have started yesterday. See what I can find in here. No, that's too yellow. Okay, let's have a look at this one, see if this fits. Yep, that kind of works. Let's cut a scrap off that. Well, let me catch you up with where I am with this now. It's a few days later now, and I've chosen this grey and lighter grey to do the shadow block. Now, this isn't how it's going to look. Pussycat's woken up. Because what it needs now is slashing in between, of course. But I just wanted to show you where I've got to at the moment. Now, excuse me, young lady. The format at the moment is for this kind of rainbow wash here, with the reds and pinks, the oranges, the yellows, the greens, then the tealy blues, the blue and the purpley colours. And what that's meant is that I've actually left out the black because the black doesn't really work. Let me show you. I've taken out these very black ones. There's no real place for them in here. It's a shame because I did quite enjoy making these blocks. But then there's no place for them in here. So what has to happen next then, first of all I'll tweak this. I'll tweak the layout of this until it's exactly how I want it to be, and then I'll put the extra sashing in this colour. At the moment they just look like blocks, but as soon as I put this light grey sashing in, it will look more like a shadow block, and that's what I'm going to do. So the quilt top now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8 across and 9 down, and the 8 is the 6.5 inches plus the 2-inch sashing, so that's that size. Come on guys, you can work this out. What I've really loved about this block, where did that come from? I've really loved that I've been able to use these 2 rulers throughout. This is my 6.5 inch ruler, and this is my 2.5 inch longer ruler here. So cutting 2 inches from that is easy, and cutting the scrap blocks to 6.5 inches, just to cut all the way around these. You've seen me doing that, and that's been really great. So 2 rulers. I love my setup here with my sewing machine, my iron, my cutting mat, my board, so that I can just go between these 3 things. And for now, that's how it's looking, and I'll show you when I've put all the rest of the sashing in and we've got a completed quilt top. And that's going to be the next clip you see. I'm pleased with it. I am slightly disappointed about the black. I just couldn't find where I would fit that. It didn't fit at the end here or anywhere else. So we're going to have this quilt then as a quilt top right now. It's actually weeks later, but it's finished now, and I like how it looks very much. So that was an interesting project to do. I didn't get rid of as many of my scraps as I hoped I would. That's always the way, isn't it? I've probably got enough scraps left to make 6 more quilts like this, more. I like the choices I made with the pale grey and the dark grey, and I think that close up it doesn't look like a shadow quilt at all, but from a distance and perhaps through the camera it really does, and I like that a lot. So now I'm going to think about how to quilt this. I think I might be sending this one off to get long arm quilted, because I think it would suit that very well indeed, rather than being delicately hand quilted. And so there it is, finished. I'm very pleased with it, and I hope you like it too. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, it's been quite epic, that one. I've got to think of something for the backing as well, because I haven't actually thought about that. I think it could just be a simple plain grey, and that will be a very useful, serviceable quilt for me to have on my bed. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and so thumbs up, subscribe, share this video if you've enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon with something else at the Last Homely House. So thanks very much. Bye now.